Hey everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. It is August 9th. I can't believe it's 2 weeks after Summit, which is just absolutely crazy. And I'm really excited to have Hayley talking to us tonight and seeing that a lot of you guys are on the call, which is just kind of keeping that momentum going from Summit. And that's what we want to do. We don't want to kind of just have all that information and not do anything with it. And definitely getting on the team calls is something that's really, really awesome. Before I let Hayley kind of take it away, I did want to let you guys know there's a lot of things going on. If you haven't realized from our last team call last week, I'm not going to repeat all of those things, but if you go into your Coach Online office, go into the alert section on the right-hand side, you'll see all the fun things happening this month. Hopefully you're on a team cup and you're pushing for those awesome prizes. Hopefully you've watched or are going to watch the 20s, which is the new reality show on Beachbody On Demand that's going to be picking the next new celebrity trainer. And I haven't watched it yet, but I will. A lot of people on the wall, so the walls like for where like 5-star diamonds and above are put, and they're all raving about it. And I'm really excited to watch it. So watch that. My big thing that I'm really excited about is next month they're doing, I forget what they're calling it, but that Beachbody challenge thing, the pot where they put all the money in the pot. What are they calling it, Hayley? What?
Health bet.
Oh, the bet?
Health bet.
Health bet. Even Dave's yelling at me. He's like, health bet. Don't you remember? Health bet. So they already have $1 million in the pot. It's using the Beachbody On Demand app. And you have to log in, I believe, 3 times for your workout in a week and 5 times for Shakeology, or vice versa. So 3 times for one, 5 for the other. If you do that for 5 weeks straight, you're going to earn a piece of the pot. And that pot split between whoever else does that for 5 weeks. And the pot can get up to $3 million. So I think it's a great way to, number one, get yourself in on a program. Hopefully it's Country Heat for you to do that consistently. Remember, being a product of the product. Oh yeah, log Shakeology, and you must have your pick. Thanks, Diana. And I think it's a great way to invite people into your challenge group for next month too. Yep, and you have to use that app. So use it yourself and use it to invite your customers into it. I think it's just another fun. And that's what Carl's doing right now. He's trying to, or he is, just making this fun for us, making it fun for our challengers, for us to do something different and get excited about it. So that's coming up. I forget the date. I didn't write anything down, but just look in that alert section in your Coach Online office. Tomorrow, one thing, yes, Leah made a really great point. We should definitely do it as a team. Yeah, put everyone in one group. I think that's an excellent, excellent idea. And Leah, since you said that, you're in charge. So thank you for that. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a power hour. I think I personally slacked on that, especially with Summit happening. So I'll say my fault as a leader for not kind of keeping up with that. I think for myself, that was helpful. And I know for a couple of you, that was also helpful. As Hayley knows, I'm not a morning person, so my power hours are at 8:30 at night for every one of you that does still have full-time jobs. So tomorrow night, 8:30, I'll be doing a power hour. It's going to be the same link, but I'll post it again tomorrow. Anyways, we all know and love Hayley. She is a diamond coach on our team. She went to Summit this year, and I think everyone just absolutely fell in love with her. And Hayley spoke on our team calls before, so I'm just going to let Hayley take it away.
Thanks. I'm the baby of the team. If you did not meet me at Summit, I'm like the youngest one, but that's okay. I'm a full-time teacher too, volleyball coach, and hopefully be able to do Beachbody one day full-time too. So that's my goal, but I can share my screen, right, Rose? Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can go ahead and see this. I made a PowerPoint because that's the type of person I am. And I don't even know how to do this on a Mac. Oh God, now I can't see you guys. Okay, there we go. I'll just do it this way so I can see people. There's a lot of information, so don't feel like you have to like try to write everything down really fast. I'll put this in the team page, just kind of, take notes as I go along if you hear something that sticks with you. But basically, I just asked Rose if I could do a team call on this personal development book that I had found that I was reading, and I like instantly fell in love with it. It is called The Miracle Morning, and so I'll show you guys a picture. This is what it looks like. They have a bunch of different editions and stuff, but it's basically the not so obvious secret guaranteed to transform your life before 8 a.m. So like, I know a lot of us still work our full-time jobs. So you have to be there. Like I know I have to be there at 7:30. A lot of other people have to be there at 7:30 early. So I know Danielle does an awesome job of her power hours in the morning at 5:45. And so now that school's been starting back up, I've been trying to get up at like 5 and get all my stuff done. But it's hard, you're already tired from working, you're exhausted, and you want to do this business, but you're just trying to find the time to do it and the energy, the motivation. So this book was a real good kick in the rear for me. So I hope it'll help you guys. And if you have any questions as I go along, just jot them down, because I'm not really good at this whole chat thing during it. And then I'll get the questions after. So let's start off with a quote. Can we see this okay, or do I need to make it bigger? Are we good? Okay, so thumbs up. Okay. So I love the quotes. So it says, you've got to wake up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction. And I just loved that quote, because I know, like for me, sometimes I'll wake up in the morning to do my power hour, get my workout in, and you just kind of go through the motions. You don't think about it. You're just, okay, need to do my power hour, need to do my workout. But, you have to have a purpose as to why you're doing it, so then you can go to bed that night and feel like you actually got something accomplished, feel more satisfied. So the way they kind of explain it in the book that I loved is finding our level 10. And so what that means is, like, think about it. Right now, we're watching the Olympics, we're watching the gymnasts and everything, and what are they aiming for? They want to get a 10. What do you want to get when you're performing and they hold up the signs and they rate you? A 10. So that's what we need to think of in our business, in our life. Like everything we go through, happiness, health, money, you want the top, you want the best of the best. You want that level 10 in everything you're doing. So think of it like, okay, when you go to bed at night, what was your level? Did you have an okay day? Did you give, half? So you give yourself a 5? What would you rate yourself? And how could you do better? I just like that analogy of, comparing yourself level 10. I thought that was really good. And another quote, because I'm a quote girl, your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development, because success is something you attract by the person you become. We all know personal development, but it just like hit me so hard that we can't show other people on the outside how we're changing. I mean, obviously we can physically if we're working out and stuff when we're working out, but they're not going to see that on the inside if we're not growing by reading our personal development. So whatever you're reading, make sure you read it. And like I talked about earlier, why did you wake up this morning? I've used all the excuses plenty of times. I'm not a morning person. I don't have time to implement more stuff into my schedule. I'm too tired. I got too much to do. But we all wake up with a purpose. Are you going to wake up an hour earlier for your purpose to get your crap done? Or are you going to wake up 5 minutes before your alarm when you have to go to work at, when you have to be there at 7:30 and you wake up at 7? So you can read this kind of to yourself right here. But basically, it's just telling us that you have to wake up every day feeling energized regardless of how many hours of sleep you get. So I'm going to flow that into this quote down here. And basically what it talked about in the first beginning chapters was telling yourself the night before you go to bed, no matter what time it is, telling yourself that this many hours of sleep is what I need. You know, like we all hear we need 7, 8, 9 hours, whatever. Tell yourself, whatever it is, you know, I'm a night owl, unfortunately, but then I want to get up early too and get my stuff done before work, so then I'm exhausted. So I'll go to bed at like 11 or 12 and try to get up at 5. And I'm like, oh, I only get 5 hours of sleep. But no, like I had to practice telling myself, this 5 hours, thank you for giving me 5 hours. It's exactly what I need. You know, like I'm capable of miraculous things. And if I want to create my reality, I'm going to do this. You know, it's basically, it's said in the book, the last thought you have before you go to bed the night before is usually the first thing you think about. So if you go to bed, you set your alarm, and I know some phones like 4 hours and 32 minutes until your alarm goes off, and you're like, oh, crap. Don't think that. Say, okay, 4 hours, 32 minutes. Let's go. Get to bed. This is going to energize me. You know, you got to switch that mindset over. So I've really tried to think about that here lately with school starting. So I don't know. That was just something maybe you guys could think about. So here's some things that, you know, we always like to have action steps, right? We like to listen to presentations, but if you're just going to tell me stuff, blah, 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 what can I do, right? Like, I want to know, what can I freaking do? At least that's how I am. So this is just the first one. This isn't even like the good stuff. This is just kind of like the preview to the main movie. But this is the 5-step snooze-proof wake-up strategy. And I will tell you that I've done 2 of these 5, and it somewhat worked. So I'm hoping if I implement all 5 of them, it's actually going to work a lot better. So step 1 is just like what I talked about. Set your intentions before you go to bed. Be thankful you're getting those hours of sleep. Tell yourself why you're setting your alarm for 5 o'clock and what you're going to do to be successful at 5 o'clock in the morning. Step 2, move your alarm clock across the room. So we just moved into our new house, which a lot of you know, and I mean, I'm so guilty of it. I'll like play on my phone right before I go to bed, look at Pinterest, respond to messages, whatever. But one night I put it over in the bathroom, which is kind of close to me, but I still have to get up. And so I set my alarm, and it went off, and I was like, what is that noise? And I got up, went, hit snooze, went, laid back down, went off again, got up, went and hit snooze, laid back down. So I got to get a lot better at that one. But honestly, if I think I'm going to put it more closer to my toothbrush in step 3, because that one said to brush your teeth and then drink a full glass of water. So maybe if I can actually put all these together, hopefully it'll be a lot better. But some of you might already sleep with your alarm clock across the room, which is awesome. You're already ahead of the game. But like I know Lisa, when we were at Summit, she was already sleeping in her workout clothes for number 5. So she was way ahead of the game. And some of you might do that too, which is great. But the last step is just to get dressed in your workout clothes too. So like after you kind of wake up a little bit, go ahead, put them on so you don't have an excuse. So that's just the preview. And so right here, waking up early, especially when done with purpose, always start your day off feeling empowered for your day. So just think about your purpose. You know, what are you waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning for? Are you doing it because people are telling you you need to do it, or are you doing it because you really want to? Okay. And then last thing before we get to the good stuff, this is called the potential gap. And basically, I put the definition for you guys: a gap which separates who we are from who we can become. So, like when I was reading this, I pictured, okay, Grand Canyon. I pictured a big gap. You know, that was the biggest thing I could think of. It's going to vary in size from person to person. Your potential gap, maybe you are on one side and you think, oh my gosh, I have so many things I have to do before I can reach my goal of hitting diamond, or I have so many things to do before I can reach my goal of quitting my full-time job. But then some of you are like 2 people away from getting diamond, or you're not very far. You know, you've already set your date for when you want to stay home. You're not very far from reaching whatever goal that is. So your potential gap is what you make it. If you think you're far away from that goal, then more than likely you are going to be. But if you think to yourself, you only have a few more steps, one step each day is going to get me closer, then shoot, you're going to be a heck of a lot closer than someone that thinks they still have a whole nother 5,000 steps to do before they reach their goal. And basically it's turning your life into what you want it to be, becoming the person you know you're capable of becoming. And like it said, your inner world, that's your life, you know, like your emotions, things that go on inside of you, they control, that is what you can control. Your outer world, your life situations will improve when you control your inner world. So when you can control your emotions, when you can control how you react to a situation and what happens on the outside of you, that's when you're going to feel a whole lot closer in your goals and not so far away in this potential gap. So now we're going to get to the good stuff. So in the Miracle Morning, it talks about life savers. And SAVERS is an acronym. And so what it's an acronym for is the S stands for silence, A is for affirmations, V is for vision, E is for exercise, R is for reading, and S is for scribing. And so these are some things that you can implement into your morning routine every day to help you feel more relaxed, more creative, more ready to tackle the day, confident, okay? So I'm kind of going to just break them down real quick for you guys. Silence. When you wake up in the morning, whatever it is that you have to do, just take a moment and be thankful for that day, whether you meditate, whether you pray, whether you reflect on what you did yesterday. Even if you just don't think about anything, you just close your eyes and focus on your breathing, gratitude, whatever it is. Take just even a minute and just sit there in silence, and however you choose here in one of these, just go through that silence so that you can prepare your brain, prepare your mind for the day. You know, we always hear this saying, it was funny, one of the teachers told me today when I was leaving work, because it was a rough day, and she's like, well, that's all right, tomorrow's a fresh new day. And I was like, yeah, hope so, because this one was rough. But, you know, she's right. Like, when I wake up in the morning, I'm doing my silence. All right, it's a fresh new day. I'm not going to think about what happened yesterday. I'm not going to let that bother me. So whatever you're doing in that silence time, just don't think about anything. Just be silent. And then your affirmations. I know Lisa Hansen believes in this tremendously. Danielle is a firm believer in it. And I've definitely come to see that they know what they're talking about. And when you're doing your affirmations, kind of go by these guidelines here. What is it that you really want? And why do you want it? Who are you going to become to be able to get those things? And what are you committed to doing? You know, like we did some affirmations at Summit, and so I kind of wrote them down here on my list. I am strong, I am confident, and I am a leader. You know, like those are things I want. I want people to be able to see that I'm strong. I want people to see that I'm confident and that I'm a leader. You know, I want these things because that's my desire to be able to lead a team of my own, and I have to be strong and confident in order to do that. And so what do I have to do to achieve those things? I have to tell myself every morning that I'm capable of doing it. You know, yes, I have rough days, and, you know, people don't believe me half the time when I tell them my vision and stuff if they aren't in our community and they don't understand. But that's not going to deter me from believing that I'm confident in myself. So you got to tell these things to yourself every day. Make it a daily thing and have feeling in it. Like, don't just say, I am confident, I am strong. You know, put some emotion behind it. Like, I'll clap, or I'll like raise my hands. I'll get like all into it. Good thing Zach's still sleeping when that happens. So, like, you know, you just feel it. Like, you go to a concert and you're feeling that song, feel that affirmation. And physiology part. Yeah. That is like, that's the motions to it. You know, like in the book it said, sit up straight, take a deep breath, whatever you need to do. Like, don't slouch, don't fall asleep. Make it where you're really feeling this on a daily basis. So that's your S and your A. Okay. So S.A.V.E.R.S. So the next thing is our V for visualization. So we hear this all the time, right? Like, make your vision board, visualize what you want to happen. But I loved the definition they gave in this book. There was 2 parts to it. So I kind of wanted to break it up for you guys so you can see the 2 parts. Can you tell I'm a language arts teacher? You know, I like to break things up. So number 1, the process of imagining exactly what you want to achieve or attain. So we all got that, you know, make our vision board. What do we want? What do we want to achieve in our life? But the second part that I think is the most important part that I know I have missed completely is mentally rehearsing what you'll need to achieve or attain. I think I left out the word do. Mentally rehearsing what you'll need to do to achieve or attain it. So, okay, I want to be a 1-star diamond coach. That's my next goal. Got diamond, want to be 1-star. What do I have to do? I have to rehearse in my brain. Okay, I need to follow up with my coaches. I need to be reaching out to more people that are already challengers, that look like good coaches. You know, like I need to mentally tell myself these things I'm going to do to get there. We know it's not going to just happen. So that is huge, guys. Rehearsing what you are going to do to make those visualizations happen. So that's your V in S.A.V.E.R.S. Okay, and then I went ahead and put these last 3 together so we wouldn't go on forever. E is the exercise. I think we all got that part. You know, I know for me, I slacked tremendously on the exercise part during summertime because my whole schedule was just off, not being in school. But I loved this quote: start every morning off with a personal success ritual. So figure out what you're going to do every morning. So like mine is I wake up, I drink my Energize, get my water, and then I come in here, do my devotions, read my PD, go through my S.A.V.E.R.S stuff, and have my power hour. Like that's just what I do. And last year when I started implementing it, I found it got so much easier as time went on because then I had that done and then I would go exercise and I'd get my workout done. This summer, did that happen? No, not at all. And I could tell that I was not exercising. I could tell that I was not doing my routine and it was so off. So we all got the exercise part down. So just now make it part of your routine. The reading, AKA PD. Of course, we all know personal development. Right here, I tell my students this all the time. It takes just as much effort to not read as it does to read. You can sit there and you can say, oh, I really want to read that book, but I just don't feel like it. That takes just as much effort as getting the book, opening it, and starting to read it. So the whole reason we read, right, is because we want to model successful people who are already doing what you want to do. I know in the education world, we say work smarter, not harder. So same thing here. We are just modeling what other people have already done. They've already gotten scripts for us. They've already done things. So now all we have to do is find out what they did, tweak it for our liking, you know, for our life, and then just follow it. So that's how you're going to learn things, is by reading. And then the last one that I really liked that I started implementing that is really cool. He said scribing because he needed an S, but he also said it's like journaling. So when I first saw it, I was like, I don't have a diary. Like, I don't want to keep a diary. I don't have time for that, blah, blah, blah. But I ordered a book, and I'll put the name of it in the team page. But it's called the Winner's Journal. And I really like it because, like, you've heard this saying, you know, you can't get everything done in a day, but win the day. Like, what can you do today? Little steps to win the day. And so this really helps break it down as to what did I do today to be successful? How did I win the day? And it really helps you feel thankful. Like, what are you thankful for? Gain clarity as into kind of your direction of where you're going. Maybe you'll get brand new ideas that you want to write down, review things that you've done in the past that may have worked or not worked. And then the biggest one is looking back and seeing how much progress you've made. I think that's one thing that I know I get caught up in, is like seeing other people be successful. And I'm just like, how do they do that? You know, how are they that far ahead? What are they doing that I'm not? Why do I suck? You know, like, why have I not made progress? But if you write it down, then even if it's a little progress, you have something to say, look where I was and look where I am. And so the 4 things he said, that if you were like struggling of what to write down, just write down 4 things. 1 thing you're thankful for, 1 thing you did to win the day, something that you accomplished, something that you want to improve on, and then your action that you're going to do to improve on it. So it does not have to be complicated at all. I literally do these 4 things. That's it. So now you're probably thinking, okay, this is great, Hayley, but I don't have time to do all this in the morning, right? Like, I already have a ton of stuff to do. So before you look at the top, I want you to look right here in the middle where it says 6-minute miracle morning. He gives you a step of how you can do this in 6 minutes. Now, of course, exercise is going to take a bit longer. But, you know, if I try to do this, it takes me about 15 minutes for all of it. But do it however long, however short you need to do it. It's totally customizable, guys. Like, if you look at it, he put the scribing and journaling part in the middle at minute 4 and exercise last. And I think that makes sense because you want to exercise last to be able to shower and get ready for work or for the day. So you can do it in whatever order works for you. If you want to read your PD first and then journal and then have a moment of silence, whatever. But if you are struggling to find the time, then just do 1 minute of silence, 1 minute of affirmations, visualizations, write stuff down, read, and then exercise. And set a timer on your phone, whatever you need to do to, you know, start implementing little steps. Don't try to do it all at once. And then the last thing I just wanted to share with you guys is this was really cool that I hadn't ever really thought about. And I think it can compare to a lot of things in our life, especially us as coaches, and we're trying to help people get into a new lifestyle, not just seeing that like, oh, I gotta work out, oh, I gotta eat healthy, oh, I gotta do this for 21 days. Like, so his thing is the 30-day challenge. And there's different phases to it. And it makes sense. The first 10 days, phase 1, it's unbearable. You're exhausted. You don't want to wake up early. You're sore. You're tired. You know, things that make it unbearable, that make you not want to do this anymore. You just want to stop. You just want to give up, right? Then you kind of, okay, I did it for 10 days. Then you get into phase 2, days 11 through 20. And now it's just uncomfortable. Like, you don't mind doing it, but gosh, this is just so hard. I just don't know if I'm, you know, benefiting from this at all. Is this going to help me? It's just, you know, you're not really sure yet. And then by the time you kind of, oh, that's supposed to say 30, sorry. By the time you get to days 21 to 30, you're in the last phase, and you've showed yourself that you can freaking do this. Like, you pushed through when it was unbearable, when it was so hard you did not want to do it, when you were thinking to yourself, is this helping me? Because I just freaking want to stop right now, you know? And then you're like, all right, I did it. Let's keep going. And then you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. So I think share this with your challengers too, because I know I'm going to, like, they're in these different phases in their workouts, you know, the 21-day fix. They get to day 21, don't let them just stop. Take a day or 2 off and then keep going, because that's when they're in the unstoppable phase. That's when they're ready to, they feel good, they got a round in, or, you know, the 30-day program. So that's something that you can apply to anything, not just this. And then the last thing is he does have a website. It's pretty simple, themiraclemorning.com. And you can kind of go on there. He has like the free 30-day challenge stuff you can sign up for. I think you can buy the book on there. I don't know. I bought mine on Amazon. But it has some pretty cool stuff. So I would definitely look at the website, and then just remember S.A.V.E.R.S. I just wrote down the acronym and put it up on my wall and try to, do it each morning. Even if I can't maybe do all of them, just do a few steps of them, customize it to yourself. And I think that you'll really start to see that if you take time in the morning to do, these steps, you'll see your day will go a lot better, just based off of how your morning goes. I know you moms out there, that if you wake up and you take time for yourself before your kids wake up, it's much better than having to wake up to a screaming child, I'm sure, and having to rush around and do all that stuff. So same thing with our businesses. Just apply this here, and I think we'll really start to see that you're starting to believe in yourself more so, and it's showing to other people. So I'm going to stop sharing this now. And okay, I guess I don't know how to read these comments, but okay, so that's about it, Rose. So if anyone has questions.
If you click on the chat thing, it'll pop up the comment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just click on it. I don't think anyone had questions. I think people were just kind of commenting.
Chug, you're energized in bed. I like that. Yeah, Leah, I thought about meditation too. He talked about some different ones, but he didn't really go in depth about it. And so I just kind of been using it for more silent prayer time, but definitely would like to learn more too. So that's it.
Anyone have any questions? Leah or Diana, Leah was asking if you had any recommendations on meditation. Is Diana there? I don't see her face. There she is. I'm unmuting you.
I'm sorry. I totally missed that. What was that, Rose?
That's okay. Leah was asking if you had recommendations on meditation.
Oh, recommendations on meditation. As my daughter is screaming right next to me.
It's okay. Or she's asking if you do a team call on it.
Personal. Yeah. I mean, personally, it works best if it's a lot of time that you dedicate to it. You know what I mean? That I have dedicated to it, when there's nobody around, and if you're able to find a spot that makes you comfortable, that you can physically go to, that's always helped work for me. A physical spot that you can go to alone to just quiet your mind and to not think about Beachbody per se, really. Yeah. If I put that before I even which I've been slacking on, so it's so funny that tonight's call's on this, because personal development was what I was so strong in when I first started out. And this month, I don't know if it's with Team Cup and all, but I've been waking up for the early power hour and not doing my prayer meditation first. I've been waking up and just boom, going strong into my power hour. You know what I mean? So I have to get back to waking up a half an hour earlier than that to dedicate to the personal development time, because it really flows better when I do it that way.
Anybody else with any questions, comments before I yibber yabber?
Well, I could just say that I started waking up at 5 a.m. in April. I think it was April. I don't know. It's been 3 or 4 months now. And I started waking up at 5. It's not always 5, but between 5 and 5:15. I wake up regularly and do my personal development first, my book reading, and then I do my power hour. And I'll tell you that it has helped my business tremendously. It's helped me feel super productive every single day, especially if you also work a full-time job, because I felt like I was constantly pulled all over the place and trying to fit everything in little bits and pieces. And I still do my power hour and my lunch break and my night because I'm obsessed. But getting my solid full hour to an hour and a half in the morning, if I don't do that and I don't wake up at 5 o'clock, my whole day now feels off. And I used to say that I hate waking up early, and I would never be the one to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to read a book. But you get used to it. And like this past weekend, my husband let me sleep in, and I woke up though, but I felt like refreshed. But I'm like, man, I missed my power hour. Like my whole day felt off. So you learn to love it.
Renee, did you have a question? You can unmute yourself. It's bottom, what is that, left corner? Okay.
Looking for that small button. I'm blind. So I do wake up early. I get up, and I'm so not a morning person, but I'm becoming one. I'm learning to be one. I have to be one. So I've been getting up at 5:30 in the morning and chugging my Energize, literally in bed, like a crazy person. And I do not a full power hour, because then I really have to get up crazy early. And I do my workouts first, and then I have to be out the door and ready for work by 7 a.m., 7:15. And shower and be out the door. And then if the kid wakes up, the kid needs juice and food and all that. But I keep seeing you got to feed them. I keep seeing everybody doing these really early power hours, which if I didn't have to work out in the morning, I would love that, because it is easier to get stuff done. Even as a mom, if I just get to have my coffee by myself before the kids wake up, that's better to me than sleeping to the last second, because I feel better getting something done on my own. My question is, when you guys do these power hours so early, do you message, I've never actually done a full power hour. I probably should. I should try Rose's at night. That's probably more realistic for me, because I've got to work out in the morning, or it's just not going to happen once I get home from work. So that has to be done. But do you guys message and text your coaches and everything that early in the morning? Because I chug my Energize. I sit in bed for 15 minutes, and I do a quick power session of maybe a couple messages to people I know that are already up. But you guys literally reach out to people that early? If my phone went off and I was asleep, I'd be like, who is this bitch? Why?
I send all of my messages first thing when I wake up. I've only ever once had one person, well, 2 times. I've had one person respond back and be like, wow, you're up early, but they were also a mom. So, and I had one person that I friended through a like page, and I didn't realize that they're on California time. So when I messaged them at 5:30, it was 2:30 there. And when they woke up, they were like, oh, and they must have had their notifications on, because they're like, my husband got really mad that some random person was texting me in the middle of the night. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but I don't know. My feeling is that's when I work. And if you don't want to be woken up, everyone has a cell phone. If you don't want to be woken up in the middle of the night, put it on vibrate. Your alarm will still go off. So I don't communicate actively with people at 5:30 in the morning, but that's part of my strategy too, because if you're readily available to talk to 15 people at the same time, it's not possible. You want a kind of a back and forth conversation, so you can get points across and move quickly from one step to the other. Otherwise you'll be spending an hour chatting with someone. So
Because I've done it. Like I've messaged people that early, but then I think to myself, sometimes I'm like, God, they're going to hate me. It's so early. So I don't know.
But that's your mindset. That's your mindset, you know? I mean, if someone told me, like, don't reach out to me in the morning, then I would, respect that. But I've only had one person ever say anything to me. And a lot of people don't, like, you have to realize, like, we're coaches, and if you have your notifications for Facebook on, most people don't have those on their phone. So they just wake up and then they check their Facebook. They don't get like a beep every time you get a notification like us, because we're crazy.
Right. Because mine's always on. Like, I mean, I have friends of mine that are night owls, and I'm like asleep by 11. I look over and my phone flashes, and I'm like, hell, like I can't turn mine off. But I was just curious if you guys have ever run into that, because I do sometimes hesitate doing too much in the morning, just because of the upsetting people. But okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with Leah. If you think you're going to upset someone, then that's what you're projecting and not really the reality. Do you know what I mean? Personally, I don't bring my cell phone into my bedroom. I leave it downstairs. And on Sunday, I stayed up really late on Saturday night because I had a bachelorette party. But of course, I left my phone right by me, and I had someone message me at 7 a.m. and I went to bed at 4. I was like, you have to be kidding me. I'm like, this is the reason why I put my phone downstairs. But anyways, you got to do what you got to do and what works with your schedule and finding that routine for you. And I think, like Leah said, not many people have those Facebook notifications really on, except for us.
I need to find more of like a power hour time. I'm more like a 20 minute. Like I'd like to find that home for a power hour. Maybe I'll try the night one.
But I think that's also good too. If you can find, like, I don't know who termed this phrase, but power pockets.
That's kind of what I do.
Yeah, like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Whatever time you have that's focused time. I don't think it really has to be a full hour, but just that pocket time of where you can just focus, regardless of what time it is.
Yeah, it's nice to have a schedule. Like my workout, I have perfected when to do it on which days, when to do it on days I'm off. Like I've got that down to a science, but this is definitely.
Yeah, and then we have to
personal development. I'm like little here, little there, and then I forget what I read. I got to go back.
But that's where, like, you have to kind of think of yourself still as a challenger, but in a coach way. So
yeah,
making what you're doing in your workouts the same thing as what you're doing in your business. So doing it every single day. Like I do my workouts at the same thing the same time every single day. So do your coach stuff at the same time, whenever that time is, every single day.
Yeah. Good talk.
Did anyone else have any questions, comments?
I'll chime in. Ever since Summit, I have been getting up at 5 to do my power hour too. And Kristen was my roommate in college, and she can tell you that I am not a morning person at all. Like I might like bear growl at you if you talk to me too early. But one of the things that I just wanted to point out is that, like, I'm the type of person where I feel like everything has to be perfect before I can do it. And I think we can get stuck in that rut where, like, I don't want to post this until it's just right, or I don't want to open this group kind of thing. And that was how I was with my power hour too. And so I was like, if I'm going to get up at 5 a.m., then everything needs to be perfect. Like I need to have everything scheduled out and do it exactly the way it needs to be. And I've only been doing it for, I guess we've been home for 2 weeks. And I've changed the schedule of how I do things, like, probably 3 or 4 times in those 2 weeks. And so I just wanted to encourage you that if you're thinking about trying it, don't feel like you have to have it all figured out. Maybe you get up at 5 a.m. and you do your personal development and you do your workout and you realize you ran out of time, then figure out how to rearrange your schedule so that it works for you better the next time. Because I was doing my power hour and then doing my workout at night and decided that I needed to get all of my vital behaviors done first thing in the morning. And so I rearranged the schedule, and you just have to figure out what works for you. But I definitely also encourage setting a timer, because there are a lot less distractions in the morning, but it's also pretty easy when you're like, oh, I've got all this time. Like, I can spend 4 hours making a graphic, So just set a timer and figure out those things that you want to get done. Like, I definitely suggest, like, do your vital behaviors directly in the morning, and then they're out of the way, because you can easily make excuses later on. But if you've got the stuff that had to get done first thing, then all of the rest is kind of secondary. As long as you've done your inviting and your personal development and your recognition and your workout, then everything else is just peripheral, and it can wait if it didn't get done. But at least you got that much done in the morning. So that's my 2 cents.
I agree. Getting those things that you hate to do the most done first is kind of like, if you guys have read Eat That Frog, you're kind of getting those big, what seem like those big scary things that you don't like out of the way first, because the things that you don't like to do that are hard are usually the things that are going to give you progress and give you success with this. So doing those things first definitely helps a lot. So I had a couple things that I want to mention, because I listened to Miracle Morning for network marketers. I think it was a little bit different than what Hayley read. I think the straight out Miracle Morning, but same concept with the lifesavers and all of that. And I think it really just comes down to having a routine, just a routine in general, whether you exactly follow the lifesavers or not, but just having, almost just the same concepts. And when I was reading or listening to this, to the audio of it, that meditation part really like stuck out in my mind, because that's something that Lisa preaches about all the time. And I'll be talking to her and she's like, oh, I have to go meditate. I'll talk to you later. I'm like, okay, yeah. Like, go do your meditation. But I knew that was something I had to start doing. And I did do it for a while. And I use that app called Headspace, and I'll put it right in the conversation thing, in the chat section. But with this app, I think you get it's like 10 minutes for 10 sessions you get for free. And it just is and it kind of walks you through how to meditate. And it's really just kind of about like calming your mind. And I always do this. Like, I try to do it and like, don't think about anything. Don't think about anything. I'm like, crap, wait, I am thinking about something, because I'm telling myself not to think about something. But with this Headspace thing, he kind of tells you to focus on, focus on your breathing, and then like focus your feet being planted on the ground, focus your hands, and then like focus like you relaxing your head, and then your ears, and then your chin. So while you're kind of focusing on things, you're kind of like separating your busy mind, right? And I think when we can stop that, like, that mouse spinning thing that we're always going round and round on, then we can just see things so much clearer. And then when we do our power hour, it's a fast, good, focused power hour. So that Headspace thing really helped me. And what was really, really big just this week, I know Danielle posted about watching the Tony Robbins, I'm Not Your Guru, on Netflix. And of course, I got like the 30 days free with Netflix. So I signed up for that yesterday. I watched that, and like I'm like 2 hours went by so quickly watching that. It was just absolutely awesome. And I know it has something to do with this, but doesn't. But I think it's all like the same thing of just personal development, knowing who you are, like creating the reality that you want. And the one slide, Hayley, that you had that said your inner world creates your outer world. And it's because, I think it might have been from this book or not, but like the energy that you have creates your feelings, and your feelings create your actions, and your actions create your reality. Because I always I always heard that, right? Like that, what we think about becomes a reality. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but like, I really don't get it. But it's because that energy that we have, the energy that we have creates our feelings, and then our feelings create our actions, and then our actions create our decisions, and then create our reality. But I highly recommend all of you watch that Tony Robbins thing. It's 2 hours, and honestly, it goes by like it's 30 minutes. I think that's all I had to say for tonight. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Anyone else watching that Tony Robbins thing? Go watch it. It's really, really awesome. All right, awesome call, Hayley. Thank you so much. And tomorrow night, like I said, 8:30 for the Power Hour. Hope to see you all on. If you didn't, hopefully you did the 5 a.m. with Danielle. All right, ladies, have a good night.